The headlines. In the headlines, APC presidential candidate Bola Tinubu promises youths vital role in government if elected. Borno State Governor says state is 90% safe for elections. World food prices hit record high in 2022. And on the international scene, Mali's military leader Goita pardons 49 Ivory Coast soldiers. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. And now the news in detail. The All Progressives Congress presidential candidate Bola Tinubu on Friday in Abuja has promised youth executive positions if elected in 2023 to contribute their full potentials in governance. Tinubu made the promise at a National Youth Town Hall meeting themed Setting the Youth Agenda, aimed at engaging the youth on his plans for them. Noel Sampson has more of the report.
Youths in their numbers attended the town hall meeting to hear what the APC candidate plans for them if elected. They believe young people not only represent the future, but are society's main agents of change and progress.
The younger generations need you. Nigeria need you. We all need you. Don't trouble yourself, sir. The Nigerian youth have asked me to tell you that you have won. This election, we are going to win it landslide. Because we are determined.
While other candidates are working hard to manipulate their youth to win elections at all costs, including using them as dogs and agents of violence, Asiwaju and Shettima are carefully planning on how to give Nigerian youth jobs, security, quality education, healthcare, and social security. Asiwaju has also said, he will get to the root of the strikes in our educational institutions, and he will stop it. He will ensure that youth get access to student loans and other incentives.
APC presidential candidate Bola Ahmed unveils his plans when he gets elected in February for the youth and the country at large.
You will have innovation. You will have enough electricity to power your home and investment. You will have good roads. I promise security against it. Then we have what they need. Even if personnel, we have able-bodied boys. If it's human capital, we have enough. If it's technology, we will give them the technology. They will crack down the bandits and send them away from the face of the harvest.
Youths constitute large percentage of voters, and through active participation, young people can play a vital role in their own development and that of their communities. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Wife of former governor of Oyo State, Florence Ajimobi, has called on Nigerians, especially market women in the state, to vote for the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, who, according to her, has the capacity to return the nation to the path of national prosperity. Ajimobi spoke in Ibadan during a consultative meeting with market women who described her as pivotal to their socio-economic development. The former First Lady, who described the former Lagos State Governor as a unifier, charged the traders to ensure that they obtain their permanent voter cards and vote massively for the APC presidential candidate.
God has taken control. There is no doubt in my mind that come February 25, Tinubu Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to win that election and he will be declared as the winner. The mandate will be given to us. The response I'm getting from people is overwhelming. But I know it's the work of God. That's what we're telling them. We've educated them. They're all going to collect their PVCs and we're going to hold those PVCs very dear to us.
Governor Babagana Zulum has said Borno State is 90% secure and safe ahead of the 2023 elections. He said this on Friday after meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa in Abuja. The governor assured the voting public of their safety before, during and after the elections. The November 2022 attack on People's Democratic Party presidential campaign train in Maiduguri, the state capital, has raised security alert about possible violence ahead of the polls. Zulum, while reacting to a question on the current state of security in his state, said that there is great improvement of security in Borno State, hinting that his administration is looking forward to rehabilitating Maiduguri Gamborungala Road and Maiduguri Banki Road with a view to opening up opportunities for the people to earn their means of livelihood.
We want to see how we can sustain what we are doing. So far, so good in terms of security. The federal government has done well. The military has also done very well. We are now looking into the possibility of rehabilitating the victims of the insurgency. Quite a number of them have surrendered, and then federal government is supporting our mission of rehabilitating them. But most importantly, we are yet to complete our resettlement project, of which very soon we shall resettle communities of Gudumbali local government area of Borno State. And then we shall also resettle all our refugees that are living in the Republic of Niger, Chad Republic, and Niger and Cameroon. President has given approval to this effect, and very soon we shall start.
The Court of Appeal sitting in Sokoto on Friday set aside the judgment of Federal High Court Gusau, which nullified governorship primary of the People's Democratic Party that produced Dauda Lawal Dare as candidates. The lower court had held that PDP has no candidate for the March 11 governorship election in Zamfara State. The report.
The appeal was instituted by Lawal Dare Adamu Maina Waziri, the chairman, Primary Election Committee, and retired Colonel Bala Mande. Dr. Ibrahim Shehu Gusau, Wadatu Madawaki, Hafiz Nahuche, and Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) were respondents in the matter. In a unanimous decision read by Justice Abubakar Talba, the court held that the appellants have succeeded in proving all the 7 grounds of appeal canvassed and as such resolved the matter in their favor. Justice Talba said trial judge was wrong to discountenance documents submitted by INEC, adding that the lower court did not stipulate the period within which the fresh primary to be conducted and notices of participation. He added that they perused all the arguments presented by different counsels, citations of court judgments and other judicial considerations, and arrived at the decision. The Court of Appeal therefore set aside judgment of the lower court judgment and answered all the prayers sought in the affirmative. Justice Talba awarded 200,000 naira as cost against the respondents. Reacting to the judgment, the former Minister of Information and National Orientation, Ikra Bilbis, said it was the people of Zamfara State that won, not PDP and its candidate alone.
It was that it was a court-ordered election. It was a rerun primaries, and the court did not stipulate a time frame within which the rerun primaries should hold. Also, it was in evidence that indeed PDP issued a notice to INEC in compliance with the order of the trial court. And so there was really no basis for setting aside the primaries, the rerun primaries. So we are grateful that the Court of Appeal saw through our arguments and also considered the relevant principles of law which it applied. And so in our view, justice has been served.
So honestly, this is one of the most important milestones. It is a victory for all of us because this is the first time somebody is coming to challenge the status quo and actually winning. Dauda is not the one on trial. It was the people of Zamfara State that were on trial. Those people that actually want good governance,
those people that actually want to wrestle power from the cabal. Allah has shown us that day today, and it is a victory for every single individual in Zamfara State.
A federal high court in Gusau, presided by Justice Aminu Baffa Aliyu, has nullified the PDP primary election held in May last year and ordered fresh primary election. The fresh primary held in September produced same Dauda Lawal Dere, but was also again voided by the same court.
Similarly, Court of Appeal sitting in Port Harcourt has struck out the judgment of a federal high court which nullified 16 state assembly candidates of the APC. In a lead judgment read by Justice Olabode Adegbeyingbe, the court ruled that the PDP has no locus standi to challenge the primary election of the APC. The court also ruled that the Federal High Court lacks jurisdiction to entertain the suit, and its decision to disqualify candidates of the APC is null and void. Speaking outside the courtroom, counsel for APC, Achinike William Wobodo, said the judgment means that all state assembly candidates of the party are free to contest in the 2023 general election. On his part, counsel for PDP, Dike Udenna, said the party will study the judgment and the party will take a decision on the judgment.
Well, what it means to outline the APC is that there's no other impediment restraining them from campaigning, because the Court of Appeal has set aside the judgment of the Federal High Court, which nullified the candidacy of 16 of the aspirants.
The Court of Appeal sitting in Port Harcourt delivered 14 judgments today, all of which came to the same conclusion that one political party cannot litigate against another political party in respect of issues bordering on nomination of candidates. So all the decisions of the Federal High Court nullifying the candidacy of the APC House of Assembly candidates, they have now been set aside. What it means is that as of today, APC is entitled to field candidates for the House of Assembly elections. Appeal is a constitutional right which the party is entitled to exercise. That option is available, but we will need to first take a closer look at the judgment, study it, and then the party will be in a position to take its decision whether to go further or not.
You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break. How Katsina residents make a fortune from local stove fabrication. Do stay with us.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
Created a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secured are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Already, if you look at England squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. You're still watching News Update on Trust TV. A recap of our stories. We told you that APC presidential candidate Bola Tinubu promises youths vital role in government if elected. You also heard that Borno State Governor says state is 90% safe for elections. Moving to more stories, schools are set to resume after the festive period. Payment of school fees upon resumption is the nightmare many parents will have to contend with. In this report, Noel Sampson gets the reactions of parents on how prepared they are for school resumption. The report.
Students are looking forward to school resumption on Monday, having rested during the holidays. However, the first thing that comes to the minds of parents or guardians when school reopens is school fees. Some parents in Abuja say they are ready for the school resumption for their wards, but not in the monetary aspect.
Everywhere is just down. We don't know the kind of country that we are now. So we are praying for God to make the way for us so that we can be able to pay our children's school fees. And the business that I'm doing, nothing is moving now. So I pray for God now to open the way for us so that we can be able to achieve what we are needing.
I'm not really prepared, but because we have finished everything, we have eaten all our money, and you know the salary cannot take... we cannot use the salary on Christmas and still use it for school fees again. It's not enough. So we are sourcing for school fees for our children somewhere elsewhere.
Civil servant, know our own method now to chop money here, chop local loan here, and then money to even feed it sometimes they had us because the salary is too small, it's too poor. Like me now, if I tell you how much I'm earning, you go surprised. As the basic salary itself, you go surprised for my level. So I'm even think how we take get money for it. And then the school fees every day is increasing from 13, 15, 15, 18. How you go take do now? That is my challenge. Now I'm thinking I don't even know how to take starts. We are going to even get the school fees. I don't even know how to take starts by now like this. That's serious. Other
parents said though the economic situation is not favorable, but their children must resume with necessary fees paid.
From December, I've been planning for it. I make sure whatsoever that enter my hand, I keep the one for the kids aside to make sure when they are resuming, I'm able to meet up with their demands. In fact, my first son, I've transferred his money to go back to school to him since December, so that I will not be short of fund when he's going back.
Yeah, we started by curtailing the expenses back for Christmas. Sometimes you want to travel, you look at your pulse tells you the truth. You say, okay, let me shelve this traveling and make sure that the children go back to school at the real time. Because if you had made the travel, maybe you wouldn't have had the money. But you now shelve traveling and then discuss with your home. All of us will be in the same round table and then discuss it and we'll understand ourselves. Say this year, let's shelve traveling so that by the 8th, when you are going back to school, you go back to school. Because if you go home now and we spend the money, maybe we wouldn't have that money and you wouldn't be happy with me.
Schools in Abuja will resume on Monday, January 9th, after Christmas and New Year holiday. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja. It is often said that necessity is the mother of invention.
In Katsina State, production of local stoves using extracts from old tires is now a lucrative business. Many residents, including women and children, are engaged in the local stove business. Abdullahi Ahmadi visits a family whose fortune has changed for better from local stove production. His report.
This locally made stove requires a small percentage of charcoal compared to others. Besides that, the stove is affordable as each is sold between 700 and 1,000 naira depending on the size. This is the only business I know in my entire life. The business really pays and earned me money and respect among my contemporaries. As you can see, I am a disabled person, but my life has changed. From it, I pay my school fees and take care of my aged parents. All praise be to God, the Almighty. Most of the producers have acquired property and other valuables from the proceeds of this handcrafts. Sellers of the old tires and those employed to burn them make the work easy for the local stove makers. The end users say this locally made stove is highly economical. Look, our family is living a better life now, all from this handcraft. From it, we pay our children's school fees, feed the family, and make end meet. I can tell you, without any contradiction, our life is better off with this business.
We started the business here and it is now spread across the entire state and beyond. The business is booming. Our only challenge is the scarcity of old tires. We have to go up to Abajana in Kogi State to buy old tires. We need support from the government.
The name of the locality has now changed to Ungwar Emurhu because of this trade. The stove is made for local use as well as export to Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, Chad, and Cameroon, among others. Abdullahi Ismail Ahmadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Moving on to business news, world food prices fell for a 9th month in a row in December, but hit their highest level on record for the full year in 2022, UN data showed on Friday. Food prices soared to a monthly record high in March after Russia invaded agricultural powerhouse Ukraine, a major supplier of wheat and cooking oil to the world. But prices have dropped since then, with more relief brought by a deal brokered by Turkey and the United Nations in July that lifted a Russian naval blockade on Ukrainian grain exports. The Food and Agriculture Organization said Friday its price index, which tracks the monthly change in international prices of a basket of food commodities, fell to 132.4 points in December, a 1.9% drop from November. It was also 1% lower than in December 2021, but the index was 14.3% higher overall in 2022 compared to the previous year, as it reached an all-time high of 143.7 points. On the international scene, Mali's military leader has pardoned 49 soldiers from neighboring Ivory Coast who were arrested in July and accused of being mercenaries, the Malian presidency said in a statement. The 49 were detained after arriving at Mali's Bamako airport. Ivory Coast said the soldiers were part of a United Nations peacekeeping mission in Mali and were contracted to work for a private company contracted by the UN. The soldiers' arrests and charges against them sparked a diplomatic dispute between Mali and Ivory Coast. The mass pardoning comes 1 week after 46 of the Ivorian soldiers were sentenced to 20 years in prison. And finally, in sports, Guinea-Bissau has renamed a sports stadium in its second city, Bafata Pele Stadium, in honor of the late Brazilian football legend, the government announced on Friday. The decision was made at a cabinet meeting after observing a minute's silence in memory of Pele, who died on December 29, aged 82, the government of the West African nation said in a statement. The regional stadium in Bafata, located about 150 kilometers east of the capital Bissau, has a 15,000 capacity. On Wednesday, Cape Verde's Prime Minister announced that the stadium is in its capital city, Praia, would also be named the Pele Stadium. The two African countries made the name changes in response to a call by FIFA President Gianni Infantino for each member country of the World Football Association to name one of its stadiums after the star player. And with this, we've come to the end of Trust News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Thanks for watching.